deals with controversial subjects. The theories expressed are not the only possible interpretation. The viewer is invited to make a judgment based on all available information. Tonight, on a special Sightings, we search for ghosts in America's most haunted locations.
This thing has overtaken my home.
And what our team of paranormal experts and psychics uncover, even we can't explain.
And it was evil.
An exclusive Sightings investigation, hunting for ghostly apparitions. Next.
Welcome to Sightings. I'm Tim White. Tonight, a special edition of Sightings dedicated to ghosts. We'll help a viewer contend with a ghostly presence she believes is haunting her home, and we'll show you the anatomy of a scientific ghost investigation. But first, a trip to 100-year-old Manresa Castle in Port Townsend, Washington. It's a former Jesuit seminary where people try to make contact with what they believe are the tortured spirits of the dead. It's not unusual for Seattle-based photographer Steve Holderman to bring his cameras here to the Manresa Castle in historic Port Townsend, Washington. The castle is over 100 years old, but Steve doesn't come here for the architecture.
We came to the castle today to try to capture ghosts. We wanted to see images on film that we can't explain.
A paranormal agenda is quite common for the guests at the Manresa. People come from all over the country because they believe the third-floor castle turret is an energy vortex that allows spirits to travel between dimensions.
People commonly come from all around to see the ghosts. There are people in Seattle that come here regularly to see ghosts, especially on equinoxes. And Halloween night, you will always find somebody occupying 306.
The third floor of the Manresa Castle is supposedly haunted by several different ghosts. Historical documents show that at least 2 people committed suicide here. In room 306, a woman jumped to her death in 1921. Room 302, the famous turret room, is popular with amateur ghost hunters who request the room months in advance, then record their experiences in this special book. Records indicate that when the castle was used as a seminary, one disturbed Jesuit priest hanged himself here. If suicide is somehow a bridge to the paranormal dimension, then that would explain the frightening apparitions with which hotel guests and employees report having come face to face. People are often introduced to the castle by newspaper accounts or from former guests. Rod Freeman and Sue Johnston come here regularly with their teenage sons and their friends. They all claim to communicate with spirits through their Ouija board.
Definitely the darkest feeling that comes out is this Jesuit priest. We decided to ask him for page numbers in the Bible because that's easy to get through the Ouija board. There's a row of numbers there. And sure enough, he revealed to us a page number. And it's something that went along with the idea that he was perhaps evil or perverted in his life, and this is what brought him to the point of suicide. And we found a passage here in Psalm 101. A perverse nature shall be absent from me. I will not entertain.
Even I will silence him who secretly slanders his neighbor. I will not tolerate one who is conceited
and arrogant. So perhaps he's trying to tell us something about himself.
People want to be scared. People want to be scared. That's why we're here. That's why we come, to experience what others have written about in these diaries that are in the rooms.
Sue and her friends have had eerie experiences here. You'll find their paranormal accounts in this hotel diary.
I've seen Kate, and I'm pretty sure that she exists. You could make out a face in the shadow.
You're frozen and just wait for morning to come so you can share your experiences. You don't dare get up. You're too afraid to get up.
The forlorn ghost of Kate is by far the most common sighting reported at the castle. Although Kate lost her life in room 306, she's often reported lingering in the turret room. With so much haunting activity in such a concentrated area, Sightings arranged for psychic Rhonda Griffin to come here. Psychics claim to be able to tune in to a ghost's paranormal channel. Rhonda has a history of investigating hauntings and asked to be told nothing about the history of the castle. As a professional psychic, Rhonda allows us to see publicly how other guests have reported feeling privately.
It's right in here. I can feel something right in here. It comes right up to the back of my neck. Someone's crying. Someone's crying here. Someone's waiting here. Did she jump out this window? The picture I just saw, I saw somebody fall out of a window. And when I saw it, my heart just jumped.
Rhonda claimed to be tapping into another dimension. With great emotion, she was able to articulate the tremendous pain and suffering she felt reliving Kate's suicide. Rhonda was describing in great detail shocking events that other guests had only reported seeing briefly. The psychic energy Rhonda was experiencing led her down the hallway to the turret room.
I'm feeling an energy vortex coming right down through the center of this. Now, a lot of times the way things are built, they'll help to amplify particular energies. Now, most places are built on what's called ley lines, okay? And it's a concentration of energy. Where these ley lines cross is where energy vortexes are created.
Rhonda felt that the energy vortex was at its strongest in the castle's attic. Then she began to sense the period when the Manresa was a seminary.
It feels like right about here, and I'm like walking through like a time warp, and it feels like I'm going back to another time that this place was very different. The structure was very different. It was used, it didn't have a family. I don't feel a family. Oh, I don't feel a family.
Allow the base thought to attract their attention. I despise it in practice.
I'm watching a man sitting on the floor. He's isolated, he's alone, he's holy. I see him. He's almost like, he's seated, and he would come up here. God. God. Oh, God. It's not rage, it's despair. It's a feeling of hopelessness, helplessness. He's very, he's a religious person. I see a body swinging. I see a body swinging from a rope.
More messages came from the Jesuit priest through Rhonda. They were the very same page numbers for the Psalms that Sue Johnston reported finding on the Ouija board weeks before.
103.
Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me, bless his holy name. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits, who forgives all your iniquities, who heals all your diseases, who redeems your life from the grave, who crowns you with loving kindness and
You watch someone do this, and you have to think in the back of your mind, well, this could be some kind of a put-on type of deal. But then she came up with a couple things tonight that were unexplainable. And how'd she come up with the page number in the Bible? I can't explain that. No one else can either. It just happened.
After taking over 1,000 photographs at the castle, Steve processed the film in his Seattle studio. Using 5 different types of black and white and 3 kinds of high-speed color film, he discovered something he can't explain.
This was taken on the same camera, the same film stock. This is just the first frame, this is the second frame. And as you can see right here, there's a weird little bit of density on the film, and I can't I've looked on it with a loupe and I can't tell what it is. And on this one, you can't see it. I just can't explain why this is like it is.
Some experts claim that this optical phenomenon is typical of other ghost photographs. The castle seems to touch everyone who travels here with an open mind. Is there an energy vortex at work? Believers insist that a trip to Manresa Castle, especially during a full moon, is like taking a cruise to another dimension. Of the thousands of photographs he's taken, Steve Holderman believes the ones he took during our sightings investigation show the clearest evidence of haunting activity. No one's been able to explain the images in the photos using conventional means, since a camera malfunction or a light leak or bad film have all been eliminated. The cause of the strange images in the photographs remains a bona fide mystery.
Coming up,
this thing has overtaken my home.
a family is terrorized by a sinister entity.
It was evil.
Is this its ghostly image captured on film?
The Sightings Hotline was instituted to offer our viewers a chance to bring their paranormal experiences directly to our investigative team. We receive hundreds of phone calls every week, and a large portion of those calls are about ghosts, poltergeists, and haunting phenomena. We screen every call, looking for those cases where we feel sightings might make a difference.
It's a very unusual situation.
What it was or whatever.
Black ghost scared me really bad.
More than beating across my
We
guy.
have ghosts in our house. I've never experienced anything like this my entire life.
When we first began offering our hotline service, we were astonished at the number of people who called to report haunting phenomena. James Brown of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, shared his personal haunting experience with us.
We've had a ghost who run up and down our steps while everybody stood there and watched it.
Hi, I'm calling from northern Kentucky. We have a spirit in our house, and it's appeared to us as a little boy. One of my sons sees it almost nightly in the form of a clown. My son's terrified of this.
Just outside of Cincinnati, in this northern Kentucky suburb, the Thomason family called Sightings about a presence they feel is tormenting their lives. On the surface, this young family appears to be coping well. But scratch this thin veneer, and a starker truth emerges.
I can't do anything about it. This thing has overtaken my home.
We've heard voices, laughing, things have been moved.
It was evil. I mean, you could feel it.
The nightmare began in 1991 when the Thomasons moved into this house. They claim strange phenomena hit them immediately. Doors that had been closed and locked started slamming. Objects came off the walls, and Kathy felt a mysterious presence watching her.
I was in the bathroom, and he was looking in at me as I was taking a shower. I turned to look, and he disappeared.
Things got much worse for the family when 3-year-old Mikey started describing apparitions in his bedroom at night. An apparition that took the form of a clown.
He's just totally, deathly afraid to be in his room by himself. He will sit there and cry and scream that he's scared. And he would say, the clown is in my room.
Why is it that the image of a clown is tormenting this family? The Thomasons believe it may be the spirit of a boy who followed them home after a weekend trip to what had been a country club.
We had come here to see what was going on because we had heard the rumors of devil worship. It's since burned down. It was arson, but we think this is where we picked up the spirit of the little boy.
Many parapsychologists theorize that spirits can attach themselves to living people for security. But why then would the little boy be tormenting the family?
It just seems like it wants us apart. And it wants me out of the picture. I feel that very strongly.
They need something done because it's going to end up tearing up their family.
In desperation, Kathy called the Sightings Hotline. We responded by asking Dr. William Roll to survey the home using scientific instrumentation.
1.0. I brought in a magnetometer that measures magnetic fields, and we have found that psychic experiences seem to occur in regions where there are strong magnetic fields.
Unusually high levels of electromagnetism were found in the hallway between the two boys' rooms.
So we have a high magnetic field in this area.
Then he interviewed each family member. He was particularly sensitive to the fears expressed by Mikey.
You like the clown or you don't like him?
I don't like him.
Show me where you saw the clown. Now, just point to it.
That.
Okay, all right.
The results of Dr. Roll's investigation failed to prove conclusively that a ghost exists in the home. He did, however, have a recommendation based on his findings.
They need to get rid of the strong magnetic fields in the bedrooms of the two boys.
The main electrical wires coming into the home are located directly adjacent to the boys' rooms. There may be a connection between this electric source and the experiences of Jimmy and Mikey. Psychic Irene Hughes was also part of our sightings investigation. She carefully examined each room and tried to telepathically communicate with any spirits in the home. Irene then worked with Mikey, guiding him through a series of specially designed exercises. Her goal was to help him cope with his fears.
Clown, leave.
Clown, leave.
Okay, we're going to tell you bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That night, for the first time in more than a year, nothing unusual happened in the Thomason home.
Apparently what she did took care of the problem.
There were no unusual sounds, no bouncing around, no footsteps. There was nothing.
After Irene Hughes left the house, our investigative team took more videotape and photographs at the site. Later, when the still camera film was developed, something strange appeared. This photograph shows an unusual and unexplained formation on the right side of the frame. Ghost experts we showed it to said this image is consistent with other alleged ghost photographs. As soon as we discovered this new photographic evidence, we alerted the family. Although they feel the ghost is now out of their lives, they promised to keep us informed if the haunting phenomenon returns.
Coming up, a Sightings exclusive. A team of paranormal experts attempts to contact a frightening ghost haunting this California landmark. Next.
In previous ghost investigations, we've often called in the experts at the Office of Scientific Investigation and Research. But in this case, they contacted us with an important new investigation. In Ventura, California, there have been unsettling reports of spirits haunting what was a turn-of-the-century hospital. And now the haunting activity appears to be spreading to the surrounding neighborhood. The haunting began at a city landmark. High above Ventura, California, the old Bard Hospital has been the scene of numerous ghost sightings. And now, reports of haunting activity are coming from almost every building on this block. Local residents are scared, and they've called in Christopher Chacon, Peter Aykroyd, and John Berry from the Office of Scientific Investigation and Research.
We were contacted by various people in this community because there had been a variety of strange events occurring, including apparitions or ghosts, if you want to call them. We haven't been able to discern that specifically. But some pretty spooky kind of stuff has been going on up here, so we thought we'd check it out.
It opened up this far for fully a beat, and then it closed again.
I was sleeping. It was about 2:30 in the morning, and a voice said, "Hey," woke me up, and I felt a tap on the shoulder.
He had a very cold, strange look in his face, almost very empty.
For the last several years, residents claim that an entity or entities have made their presence felt to those who live and work around the hospital, now converted to offices. Tina, a former office worker, claims to have encountered several spirits. Her identity is hidden because Tina fears reprisals from the spirits.
I felt a cold hand touch my shoulder, and I looked in the direction, and standing there was this old man with white, gray hair, and I just remember his face was very defined. This startled me so bad I just stormed down the stairs and headed out the door, and the door slammed shut. And I looked, and the guy was there again.
Some believe this old man, who has been spotted on several different occasions, is actually the spirit of Cephas Bard, founder of the original hospital.
It's assumed it's Dr. Bard. I'm told that there's another presence, which is a young girl. She was apparently run over by a milk wagon or something, and she died in this hospital as well.
But there are other theories about the paranormal activity plaguing this neighborhood.
I have found that ghosts seem to be active in areas where you have different cultures in conflict. And here we have the Indian people, the Spaniards, Mexicans, Chinese, Yankees, all sorts of different people. And when you have these groups, sometimes in bloody confrontation, that leaves things behind.
The structures in this Ventura neighborhood were built on the site of an ancient Chumash Indian burial ground. Could this be the source of the haunting? You were walking through the parking lot and you looked over to one side and there was a group of Native Americans standing there, paint, no clothes, but with some sort of paint on?
Right, and I remember beads, and there was men and there was children, women. I got in my car, started to drive away, and as I backed up, I looked in the window, and all of a sudden, just like that, no one was there.
Later that night, I participated in an overnight surveillance at the old hospital. The equipment that you're using is pretty high-tech stuff. This is the what now?
These are Generation 3 night vision goggles, and these are able to give us complete visual capability in total darkness.
So in complete darkness, I could still see something. It's really pretty amazing. You can see everything, and it's all washed in green light, but you can see quite a bit of detail. Would I see everything I could normally see in daylight here?
That and more, I'd say.
You can see more?
In the infrared mode, it picks up aspects of the luminous environment that we can't perceive with the normal naked eye.
Peter Aykroyd and the other members of the OSIR research team have conducted over 600 paranormal investigations, and in each case they must find unique solutions to the problems associated with finding ghosts. This particular investigation is just beginning, and it will be many more months before the team can draw any conclusions about the source of the paranormal activity in this neighborhood. They are hopeful, however, that this will be the case where they can not only pick up the presence of spirits through their equipment, but also communicate with the entities reported here. As you've seen tonight, viewer participation is essential to our sightings investigations. If you've experienced what you believe to be a ghost or any other type of paranormal activity, our sightings investigative team wants to know about it.
If you've had a paranormal experience, call the Sightings hotline at 1-900-740-SIGHT. Each call 75 cents a minute, average call lasts 2 minutes, and you must be 18 years or older.
Join us next time for new investigations into the unexplained. For Sightings, I'm Tim White.
Tomorrow, officers risk their lives to free a hostage from a gang of drug dealers. Witness incredible police rescues on a special edition of Code 3 right after Cops. Now, stay tuned for more Sightings next.